Hello, guys. Audio is good. So I'm Lubos Kocman, not Kocman, as I was renamed on latest All Hands. And I would like to talk a little bit about a process which I think is kind of hidden in the background, but like it's still useful, especially for community. I see I made his day. Okay. And that's the community feature requests against SLES, SLFO, Unified or all, whatever you want to call it. Because many of the work of community actually depends on updating underlying libraries, right? And since we actually build it in-house in private instance, they have to have a way how to request updates or even make them. So we'll be talking a little bit about what changed since I had this talk on Labs 2020, and like what are the challenges? What SLES 16 is like how is it making it more complex, more easy in a way, and stuff like that. And in the end, I would like to hear your feedback about like how can we do it better, because I think there's huge space for improvement. So as I said, we need to be able to update. We are still based on SLES 16 binaries. That didn't change. We were adapting this model thanks to Matthias in around Leap 15.2 as part of closing the Leap gap. 16 is still the case, just in case you would be interested. And our goal is actually to somehow provide an ideal mix of community packages with the stable SLES core. And of course, everybody wants the latest, greatest, right? But that's not always possible. So my favorite quote is about finding a balance and delivering what we can with not breaking SLES. If you're interested a little bit more about Leap 16, and you don't really know how it works, go for my next talk. And I did forget to mention, whatever we built in Leap, we kind of make available as part of the package hub module for SLES customers. So this is a thing. So in a way, we have to build software like with two heads, one's for like package hub, one's for Leap, and make it working for both. Back to my talk. So in 2020, we were using, we started to adopt Jira, right, with SLES 15. That's when I think I started in 2019, and before we had Fate. And we had to find a way how people can actually do these requests which wouldn't qualify as bugs. You can still do bug, hey, please update library XYZ, but like, we prefer feature request. In SLES, you should have a feature request, right? And in 2020, we started with 5 Jira licenses for community, and we were thinking, let's use the same tool that SUSE is using for features, makes sense, right? And since it was exposed to partners, if you had valid login, why not use it for OpenSUSE? But these 5 logins were not enough. You didn't have like public dashboard, right? People were not able to see existing features, the states, if they were not one of these 5 guys. We sort of worked it around by having public meeting every week and sort of go through pending requests, but it doesn't scale very well. And at the time, Neil Gompa started to attend these meetings regularly. He was helping me, and he was big. He's also working on Fedora. He was a big fan of Pagure, which was used by Fedora project extensively. It was developed by Red Hat. And we kind of wanted like OpenSUSE Heroes maintained instance. So that was kind of a nice idea. So we deployed Pagure and we started to use it. So we can see the tracker here. It's hosted on code OpenSUSE.org. As I said, it's a Pagure instance managed by OpenSUSE Heroes. And it's used by several projects. You can request the little project there. OpenSUSE board is actively using it for issue tracking as well. So if you would have like inquiry for board, you can use the Pagure as well. They have a little project. You just open issue, and that's the way how to communicate with them, or one of the ways. And we use it for Leap features. Something that would not qualify as a bug, but not necessarily for all Leap features. Mostly for those who somehow require an update in SLES. I want to update KDE to latest version, but I have to update these and these SLES libraries. And then we create equivalent Jira, right? Link it to the Pagure, and that's it. So far, we've processed 208 features. That counts also rejected ones, so that's the total number. And I think that's nice. So that would be past like maybe 2 or 3 last releases. Aside from just tracking features until it's done or implemented in SLES, it's also extremely useful for Leap release notes. We also track like larger features, as I said, KDE update, GNOME update, maybe also a feedback loop for like controversial topics like, hey, can we drop Zen, and what does the community think? So we use it as a feedback loop as well. I will show you an example later on. So also for V2, when we were deciding whether we change the minimum base level, that was also a very useful feedback loop. And for Leap itself, during the development, if you want to add some package, we don't really require issue reference. But in maintenance process, we do. But like if you just submit something, it works, it builds, it passes some initial testing, like we will be gladly accepting it. So it's literally the SLES part which we really have to have issues for. So a little promotion on I think last or the one before the last Hack Weeks. Jay Michalska created Calendar OpenSUSE org. It's a Ruby application, usual, and we basically exposed all of the public meetings there. So if you would go to Calendar OpenSUSE org and just click, you can see what's coming, what's the next event, you can join. We use Jitsi actually for every single meeting. It's publicly available. And on our Monday 3 p.m. meetings, we usually have Neil Gompa, Gertian, me, Richard Rall recently, and it's growing. Like we have more people, and I'm really happy because you get feedback for features. They may have increased. So if you would have problematic topic, you wouldn't know how to proceed. Maybe there's some coordination needed. Let's just join on Monday. It's open to everyone, and we can discuss it and do the right next steps to make it done. In a way, I'm acting there as Tom, basically for a partner, where OpenSUSE would be the partner. In the end, it's the same process. Yes, so let's actually have a quick look at how it looked in 15, and then I will show you how it changed in 16, because there is one significant change that's kind of unpleasant for us. So let's say that I'm a person, I have my package, and it depends on what I call library A in SLES, and it needs to be updated. And we are talking about SLES 15. So let's take, I didn't use SP7 because Leap doesn't have 15.7 equivalent, we have 15.6. So let's use 15.6. So I want to update my software 5.5 and 15.6. I need to update lib A, okay? So typically contributor would create issue in the Pagure that you've seen. Or maybe, now it's kind of, we have it in maintenance mode. So maybe he would actually ask on factory, hey, I need to make that happen, how to do that. And so we would have a tracker. I would create equivalent Jira tracker. SLES needs it, right? I would link the Jira ID because you need to have it in the SR reference, like SLES release managers are insisting on that. So user would do that. He would submit request in OBS against what I call synced SUSE SLE 15 SP6 GA project into OBS. So we have sync from OBS to IBS going on. And I would review these pending requests, and I have a tool which would simply mirror it from OBS to IBS. So actually, it can be done by the contributor in a way. Internally, external people don't have login in IBS. So it would be done under my name, but it's literally mirrored submission or work of somebody, from community, which I think is pretty nice. And in order not to forget about anything or not to have it too long in the queue, we have Monday meetings where we review what's pending. We go through features, we go through pending issues that can be mirrored. Okay. So that's basically. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, this one. Pending requests that can be mirrored. And this is one of the issues you can see. I think there is on the top mirrored from. So you can, these will have different IDs because we have way more SRs in public instance. But you see a little reference. There would be a pending SUSE SLE review because we cannot submit something to SLES that was not reviewed by employees. So I would do the initial review. Does it have issue reference? Is it coming from factory? Sounds good. Let's move it for a further round of review since SLES just like in any other feature. And you can see that we can have active discussion, but somehow it was not exactly flawless, right? The sync of states was not fully working. So if we would accept it in SLES, this request would never be in accepted state, partially because that project is basically read-only sync. So that made it a little bit tricky, but we could sync comments from both instances. That was kind of nice. And generally, it was at least some insight into what people from outside may see as a black box, right? They don't see into IBS, but this was sort of a nice insight of, hey, what's the state of my submission, right? Another insight back when we used Jira was basically if you check linked issues, you could see state ready to release, for example, and you knew that it was already accepted. What changed in 16? In 16, we cannot mirror submit requests anymore. That just doesn't work. It's not a priority at the moment. Last time when I talked to Adrian. So it can be really seen as a black box, and they can still use the same process. They can create Pagure issue. Hey, I need to update this library. but like somebody has to do the work and it's not a contributor, right? Maybe he can do the work in his own project, tell me, hey, the data is here, like do it from there, but we have to take it from factory, right? So that wouldn't help. And so mostly, and I have to be, like based on maybe like last 10 requests that I processed, there was always pending submission already from somebody from SUSE. Python Paramiko by Georg, like that was already open like 30 days ago. It was just not accepted yet, which is another struggle with 16. These requests take very long to actually get accepted. It can be several weeks for a little thing, which makes it kind of, that blocks contributors, and they have to wait. They don't see anything. They have to wait for Lubos to update ticket like every week to see if there's any progress whatsoever. I feel like there is a little bit of frustration going on, but that's what we have right now. And what I can actually say about 16, like the good stuff, I'm really happy that the code OpenSUSE.org issue references were sort of recognized, and we didn't really, in early development, we didn't really have to have JIRAs. There was an issue tracker link, there was a use case, like why does it need to be done? And so far, SLS release management was sort of, tolerating that. So that's kind of nice. One challenge that I have with 16 compared to 15 when it comes to feature requests is we are sort of downsizing it in the features. Right now in GNOME, some features are disabled, so we don't have to maintain it, less bugs and so on. Then, for example, partially going away, right? And 32-bit libraries, which is a challenge for us right now. So in many cases, I hear feedback, why don't you just do it in Leap? We have flexibility of forking package, right? Like if SLS doesn't want certain feature, we absolutely need to have it. We have good reason for it. We can rebuild it. But then we need to make sure it receives maintenance updates, right? It's extra work for maintenance team. We have to make sure that it's up to date, in sync with SLS. So it has its cost. And we have currently topics like, basically stuff like VirtualBox, Steam, Wine, that require more 32-bit libraries than SLS is willing to ship. Like libc, 32-bit libc, not there. And OpenH264 or no OpenH264 dummy package, which would be handy if you have FFmpeg, you want to build it against OpenH264, which can be then later pulled by Zypper from external Cisco server. Inclusion of that is also somehow problematic. And if we do it on the Leap side, that means that we have to fork all the packages that should be built against this. And, I would prefer if it would be done on SLS, at least in these cases. But like I hear no more often than ever, just to be like, maybe for good reasons, let's keep it small, let's keep it relevant to customer use cases. But then we have to cut off features from Leap, and it's becoming less of, usable desktop, right? Like I can't imagine that you couldn't run Wine or Steam VirtualBox. Even Flatpak actually requires 32-bit libraries, as we found. So Flatpak is not like, saving everyone. And another problem is that, let's say that we create request, hey, I want to ship latest lib-a in like 16, and it's in SLS, right? So we update it like maybe in its alpha, but then we have how many? I think we had like, the original release was 2023, right? Fall, as far as if it's not confidential. And now we are 2025, and it's still not released. So it's extremely long. We had to do some update requests many times, so it's a lot of work, and you have like one feature for it, and it's never ending for engineering. That's a little bit of change that we didn't have in 15. That was fine. Generally, like SLS release cycle is 12 months, right? That's quite long already. This made it even longer. One thing which is super nice on SLS, and I think that's release management that we can actually like give thanks for, is transparency. So let's say we are downsizing the product. We want to really do relevant features for customer right now, like whatever is not used anymore, let's drop it. There's a lot of transparency, right? Like when we were considering, hey, maybe we will limit Zen use cases to just guest. We've communicated outside. We were collecting use cases. That was the case for Wayland as well. It was the case for x86 64 v2. And this was a very useful tool, actually, to get feedback. And we could share it with PM, Michal, and, we can reconsider maybe if we want to add something back or not. Problem with the current tracker. The Pagure is unsupported. So the guys that were developing in Red Hat, they left, Pingu, and they are using 4JO now. And we should do something about it as well, because the current instance, like you can't log into Pagure because it's actually on blacklist, I think, for IDP, because it was DDoSing one of our infra. That was a big problem, and so we have to resolve this issue quickly. And since we are talking about unmaintained software, I think it would be better to move to something else, either Git, or 4JO, or I don't know, GitHub, worst case. But preferably, it should be something which is maintained by OpenSUSE heroes, not SUSE IT. Imagine it's Sunday, like people want to do something in their free time, and then you have to wait for Monday or worse until somebody from SUSE kind of addresses the issue. If it's heroes, like, we have a little bit better coverage time-wise, and generally, like, it's preferred. So we have like Progress OpenSUSE.org, but people are trying to move away from it. So I feel like Git or 4JO will be one of the ways to go. And this was originally supposed to be lightning talk. I'm happy that I got space in front of all of you, so I can get feedback. Maybe you guys can see like some ways how we can make it better. I'm like a little bit frustrated about the black box situation, that we can't mirror submit requests, that people don't see what's the state of the SR in IBS, right? And it used to be the case to some extent. And we have now a tool that has to be replaced. And I think that feedback is very welcome, because most of you probably have access to IBS. So if you need something for your software, you just do request, just by yourself, which that works, but that doesn't work for a person, who is not an employee. So how to make it like better with what we have, and just a little bit of effort, I would say. Any ideas? Any preferred tool? Is there anybody who wants to use GitHub, like for the? No, you are also for more like open source stuff that's maintained by us. Yeah, that's nice to hear. Any ideas? I see Matthias. No.
I don't have. I was told multiple times during my life at SUSE that I should step out of tools discussion, so I better do. I wanted to comment on the slide before, 32-bit, and also other things. We have, as a reaction to the 16 betas, first reactions from partners, that there could also be interest in 32-bit. So this is something to maybe review with the product management team and the architects in the SUSE Linux Enterprise group. And the same, from my perspective, is true with respect to the request for updating base libraries. We are before RC1, so maybe there should be a review together with the SLE architects, which libraries could be in general interest to be updated. Mass updating. So I'm not talking about treating every single library separately. That's most probably not efficient enough. So that's my two comments. As said, no comments about tools from my side.
So I agree, but the typical feedback, specifically from one architect starting on F, is like we shouldn't update things just for sake of updating it. That's like what I always hear from person who starts on F. Okay, and like I get it, like they want to see user story based updates, but like we have 12 months old development cycle, and Cockpit, for example, is released like twice a month, right? So if we do it in early alpha, we want to have latest greatest Cockpit. Like at the time of the GA, we have like super ancient version that doesn't have features that were introduced like 20 versions back, right? That is something to account for in our schedules, because competition doesn't have that issue. They have 9 months of development, like on product starting on R, and it's overlapping with previous release, so they can they can be a little bit more flexible in that. So we have to. I like these schedules; like it has benefit. You don't have to update system that often. That's a big benefit for customers, in my opinion. But it comes for a price, right? That you can be obsolete on GA, and some sync of key components would be really nice. Go for it, Maciej.
One thing which really frustrates me about SUSE is the number of tools we use. It is absolutely crazy. I think we are using all issue trackers which ever existed.
That's true. And we made some, right? Like wait.
We are pretty close. I like appreciate really work PackTrack people are doing, but the point is, why do we need PackTrack in the first place? It's like completely crazy. And so if you ask me what tool should be used for Leap, I tell you nothing. I think what should be used would be the one central issue tracker for everything, which in some other companies used to be Bugzilla. It's not that anymore, or I'm not sure what's going on with Red Hat Bugzilla. But and I'm actually a big fan of Bugzilla. I think it, when well maintained, it can be very useful. But we really should spend some time and effort on consolidating and making something. And if it is a GT, or if it is Forcho, if I really don't care that much.
Yep, I agree. Just keep in mind that every request that we create, if it's like post-alpha, maybe in beta, like / will request actually or demand that we have also corresponding Jira. So we cannot escape from Jira at some point, or Jira link from whatever we create, maybe in Bugzilla, you know. But like for us, it doesn't really matter. We could use Bugzilla technically.
I have consoled myself with the existence of Jira.
Yeah.
I'm not happy, but yeah, probably.
But you know, I actually started that we used 5 Jira accounts. That was like the max that we were. I think it's the same for partners. They also have about 5 accounts, like talking about big partners, 5 accounts, and we were on the threshold that we could have entered like the more expensive package or limit licenses and stay on the cheaper one. So it was a big fight, and they didn't want to, you know, add like 100 accounts because it's really expensive. Go for it.
I'm sorry if it's too obvious, but how about shipping any application and libraries that are 32-bit in a container, so that, but make this container seamlessly appear? So if I, let's say, called wine, it would, you know, launch the container, see the contents of my home, something like that. So at least the 32-bit stuff would be kept separate. Have its even own life cycle, you know, so it could be managed separately instead of again forcing the 32-bit libraries into a pure 64-bit system. The only thing is the kernel needs to be able to execute those 32-bit libraries. I guess
that's also
about that.
You did actually touch the right topic. I kind of missed that. Well, we didn't go into the 32-bit topic fully, but that's also the case. We have to enable 32-bit call support in kernel params, you know, if we want to do that on Leap, because it will not work on SLAS. I mean, like, I like to game in my like evening times, and even on 16, I'm using DistroBox where I installed, you know, Steam and all the corresponding libraries, and I have a container for that because I cannot use Flatpaks. Flatpaks would be changed with containers. I'm not sure how to make that happen, that Flatpak can see that he could use the container somewhere from the system which has the 32-bit libraries. I think that would be the first challenge. But I mean, like, this is my workaround, just what you described. I'm just not sure if it will be acceptable by community. You know, somebody, keep in mind, it's not just people who are technically skilled. It could be somebody who is having Windows 10, he hears, hey, end of life's coming, you know, OpenSUSE seems to be a nice platform, you can game on it, and then we start, hey, you can install this container and then, you know, make it work. That will be too complex for some people. But it's a solution. So it has to be seamless, as you said, for the user.
Yes, I think so.
And we are not there with any solution that I'm aware of, but it would work, yeah. But we would probably misuse Tumbleweed for many Leap use cases. I use it for development too, because Leap 15 was too obsolete for me to work on. So I was using containers with newer software anyway. Thank you. I think it's a good direction, but the integration is missing still.
So on the 32-bit library thing, so we are actually building a small set of 32-bit libraries, and I think it should be possible to ship those at least to Leap. So put them on package hub, for example, like the glibc 32-bit. You absolutely need that.
We have that
to like bootstrap more of 32-bit. Yeah. Even if you're doing that.
You touched interesting topic. I didn't say that. So SLAS has super set of packages that they built, but they do not ship, but we inherit all of that into Leap, or all of that we didn't filter out explicitly, like live patching, for example. So yeah, that could be, but there still needs to be willingness to invest time into these libraries. So last time that I mentioned it on unnamed call that we have, I think on Thursdays, like they said, nope, but maybe we can revisit that. And yeah, the Steam wasn't the use case for enterprise, basically. But I think VirtualBox could be, and VirtualBox is affected too. So maybe if we push on the Vert stack, that could work. And I feel like Leap could be like the recommended desktop platform for engineers. If you are using SLAS and you want to develop on it, like, I think it should work. Thank you.
So coming back to the tools thing, as someone who has the same problem that you do, I think the most important thing is not how good an issue tracker that we pick is. I think it's how easy it is to maintain,
Absolutely.
how we don't end up in the situation we're in now, again in 6 months' time or 12 months' time, or when the heroes change again. So that's I think the hard part. And at the end of the day, the issue tracker doesn't matter. They all track issues. It's can we maintain it? Is it going to be up 24/7?
And there'll be users willing to use it, right? If you choose
Yeah.
like controversial stuff, 50% of people may not use it just because it's GitHub, for example.
Well, but on that point, GitHub is there 24/7.
I know.
We don't have to worry about it.
I told you, Georg. Somebody will erase it.
We do also have a namespace on the public GitLab.
Yeah.
So maybe GitLab.com is a more palatable alternative to some people.
I like the idea of outsourcing something, but when we have an issue and we have like this support email, they are locked, like they can't do anything. They can just re-raise the issue somewhere else, and it depends what do we expect from heroes. And some people would enjoy managing their own instance.
But if we are if like you are, and we as the board are mostly using it as an issue tracker, I don't think we should be looking for features that aren't in most issue trackers already. I
agree. Yeah. It's issue tracking. It's overkill for issue tracking, whatever we use nowadays. Yeah. You should also do something about the progress. I think that, it's basic. Okay, thank you. It's basically used only by, I use it for open QA test issues, really. Like no longer the release process because we had to rework it with 16 completely. So yeah, I think that we could erase one to replace it with something else or reuse something existing. I agree. Anybody else? Thorsten is standing up? No? Okay. Then I give you back 5 minutes of your time. Enjoy coffee until the next talk, and thank you very much.